As you can see, I'm not in the workshop. I'm actually at a car damage dealer called Autoton. Today we'll check out some damaged cars that could be interesting for our YouTube channel. As you all know, our Honda project is hitting a bit of a snag because we're stuck on a few parts that we don't have yet. And that's why I started looking for new damaged cars. Yes, and they happen to have a few here that I find interesting. I'll show you around the yard. They have a small BMW here, though it's not a particularly interesting one in my opinion. But on the other hand, it does have a very nice interior. Just look at this, nice leather. And one thing I do want to tell you is that I don't know the prices by heart. That's why I'm popping up a little info box on the screen, so you know what kind of BMW it is, how much it costs, and what the mileage is. On the other hand, I've seen two cars that are interesting. An A45S AMG, they've had this one for a while, so I'm curious why it's been sitting here on the lot for so long. And they have an SQ5 with interesting damage. That could also be a very nice company car for us, once we fixed it up. But not before we look at the damage, of course, because such a damaged car can be quite disappointing. Often they make it look better than it really is, and that's why we always go to look at a damaged car. We don't want to repeat the Type R mistake, so we'll just walk around here. Yes, I don't know if you've seen it already. They really have a lot of nice cars here, with small damages, big damages. You should check out the website. For some reason, BMWs keep tickling me. As you know, we also did a 1.35 NE 82 from my head with a big front damage. Was a Belgian car. And yes, it just turned out so well that I've fallen a little in love with BMW repairs since then. But, well, this is quite a nice thing. It had a small front damage, a roof that is open. That's always a bit of a shame actually when it rains. Then it quickly rains inside, so that's a bit of a waste. But, well, a small damage, right? I don't know what it is, but half of these hoods here just don't open. Maybe I should just pull the lever, but, well, that doesn't work either. There's just no room to get in. But, well, it's not that interesting to do further research on this car. What immediately strikes me is a mega thick Range Rover with a chameleon tint on the windshield. Quite wrong, actually. Yes, a relatively large damage if you look at it like this. Again, I have no knowledge of Range Rovers. It seemed really cool to do a Range Rover project once, because then you truly understand how a car is assembled. I see the license plate lying in the front right away. That's really nice. Because if a car's license plate is lost, that means you have to apply for it again, and then you get a duck on it. If you can return it, then you don't get a duck on it. So yes, I personally don't think a duck on a license plate is nice. But this really does feel quite wonderful. Such a Range Rover. Hey, headphones in the back, so that means there are screens in it. Yes, I do feel screens indeed. And what do I see there? A part in the trunk, and that is something super important, that when you buy a damaged car, that the damaged parts are also included, because there are actually very usable little parts in such a broken front bumper, like parking sensors, you name it. And yes, if you have to buy all those things separately, it costs quite a bit. We know that by now. When buying a damaged car, take as many damaged parts as possible to save on overall costs. But this is so sick, guys. Such an interior. You really notice that everything is immediately luxurious? Well, it is dirty, needs to be cleaned. A virtual cockpit. From the inside, you don't see the car's damage. From the outside, you do. Just missing the whole front. Yeah, that's always a bit sad, but oh well. Such a car is really very comfortable. I better leave soon before they sell me. So what other interesting items are here? What's this thing? An S-Class? A very big one. Well, that's not my preference. Maybe it smells really nice, but no, it's not for me. This is a big fat X5, I think. It's likely an X5, an electric vehicle. However, I don't work on electric cars and refuse to do so. Because I just know how much work it is to fix it. You really have to do a lot of things at the dealer. And of course we don't do that much, so yeah, I actually advise against fixing an electric car, so it's not interesting for us. Hey, they have a Golf there, or no, I think this is not an Eric if I would see those brakes, but airline, maybe a panoramic roof, that's what he... Oh yes, that door won't open because its screen is damaged. I think it's a 1.4 or something, or a 1.5. Not an R-line, I think? Otherwise, those bumpers would have looked different, but nice. It does have a panoramic roof, which is always an option that I personally think should be on such a car. A panoramic roof does finish it off. Wow, this one has been bought off that i-tron. What a device. I think Those things always have big brakes. Yeah, not normal, not normal. How big brakes those things have. They are electric. So, and those things also weigh quite a bit. I'm not going to touch it anymore because that car has been bought off. And I don't want them to think, hey, they've been messing with it. So I'm not going to do that. I actually want to look inside. But this is really next level, huh? That technology of, yes, the newer cars. Just a camera as a mirror. Imagine if that breaks, what that would cost. BMW mirrors are also quite expensive these days. It is a camera mirror. It would probably be even more expensive. Look, and there stands the A5S I was talking about. It has been standing there for a while. Which is of course a real shame. The interior is quite tidy. I had already inspected it previously, so we're aware of the airbag damage it has. And yes, the inside is really very clean. Again, every time I see that window tinting, I don't know if it's original or not, but it does give the car a certain luxury charm, so to speak. As you know, we also bought our GLA 45 AMG here, and that car was really very thick and the damage was also not too bad, but seriously, the interior is so beautiful. This steering wheel too, it feels a bit more luxurious, Alcantara. This car has been here for a while, and I'm actually curious why it's been here so long. In terms of interior, it actually only needs a steering wheel airbag, a knee airbag, and for the rest, you can actually see that the dashboard airbag didn't go off, which is of course a very nice bonus. This seatbelt is good. This seatbelt is good. And the floor mats are in there. That's actually the first thing a damage company pulls out. Floor mats. Because those original floor mats are often a few €100, and you sell those quite quickly to someone else who is missing them. The interior is really nice. It really has a lot of options. Seat heating, seat cooling. Yes.
Very sick.
Very sick. Those AMGs are a different class. They keep tickling me. I'll wait a moment. There's a forklift driving behind me. I'll wait until that man is done, and then I'll get out to take a look at the front with you. Everything is so damaged that it just won't open. Probably, if I spend another 15 minutes trying to get the hood open, I'll be able to do it. But I don't have that time right now. But well, it's a shame of course, because this way you can't fully assess the damage. You can immediately see that there is something like a... well, what is it? A beam that is actually welded on here on the right is bent downwards. And you can also immediately see that a beam that goes on the front, actually a chassis beam, is damaged. So it actually needs a lot of work. Came from the front, so I think chassis beams also need to be aligned. As you know, our Type R has understeer, which is something different than when a chassis beam is really bent. Or if it's damaged, then I think it needs to be replaced. You can't repair it, I think, but I'm not sure. But it's always a really cool car also, of course, because it's a bit of a wrong version. With the spoiler, I think that spoiler is an option and you can just tick it at the dealer, and so you also have them without. People seriously buy them without because they want the luxury of a 45 but not the appearance. So yes, you do have them, I think. Besides, I've seen a very nice 3 Series touring with theft damage. That's also funny because often they are stripped, I wanted to say. And this one is also pretty well stripped. Or this is the more luxurious version for the limo, so to speak. The most important thing to pay attention to when you buy a stolen car is, how are the parts disassembled? Has the wiring been cut? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself to know if it's worth buying such a car. And here they have just neatly unplugged the connectors. And you even get parts with it. So, they smashed in a left window. I think to steal the steering wheel. And I used to work at BMW, but that was before these models came out. So I don't know how fast... These cars are stripped. I know that in a series. You have everything out within 5 minutes. Screen, center console where most is clicked. With just a few Torx bolts, you can remove it. You could buy a less spec'd 1 Series in Germany. In the Netherlands, they always use the screen, allowing you to say everything at once. Transfer all those things to that German car. options like a screen were unavailable, you simply sold it here for a lot more. But well, I can already see here that a seatbelt has been cut. I wouldn't know why you would do that if you're going to strip a car. Well, maybe I do know. To quickly remove those seats. Here also a filthy cut, because those bolts are often in a difficult place indeed. Oh, this one is also loose. But for the rest, it's actually quite a neat car. Yes, it can't be otherwise. I think it's as good as new. Does he say? Yes. Looks neat otherwise. And the other car I came for was the SQ5. That one, oh by the way, there's more missing than just the interior. A whole front end, a front bumper is missing, 2 headlights. Believe me, those can also be quite expensive parts. The next car I came for was that SQ5. This is quite an interesting car, because the damage seems quite small. And I see it needs a headlight, a bumper. And behind here is also some other damage. Look at how many airbags have been deployed. Tinted windows. Oh yes, brass pump. Always a good sign. These things are always so luxurious. Those S models and the RS. Nice stitching in at SQ5 Quattro, guys. So we need a steering airbag, a dashboard. A windshield. This really is the ultimate family car, to put it that way. Keyless flippers around 27,000 kilometers, walked outside temperature seen on your dashboard that indicates -40 or a very strange number. Then, you know, the temperature sensor has also been hit and therefore needs to be replaced. A small tip. So yes, all in all, a very cool car. If you have seen a car that find interesting, this video will link in the description of the dealer, jury in picture. Good morning, and yes, what do I see there? Is that a gate on top here? A Nado. If you find a car interesting that I have shown on screen, I will put a link in the description of the website. And now that we have looked at a few cars, we can calculate for ourselves sometimes of what is interesting to make and not. And let me know in the comments if you have seen something, what is interesting for our YouTube channel, and then maybe I'll pick it up. I'll see you soon. Ciao.